So DC are back with their next big budget superhero extravaganza, The Blue Beetle. But is this film any good, or does it follow in the footsteps of, the last half a dozen DC films that have now pretty much flopped? Let's find out. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my review for 2023's The Blue Beetle, the new DC Universe movie. Either the last of the existing universe, or if they're to be believed, the beginning of the new. But not really. Like, the character will be carried over into the new universe, but not the story. I don't know. I think they're just trying to save face and try and get this film to make some money. But The Blue Beetle, this movie here, was originally meant to be aired on Max. They gave it a theatrical release instead. It's got a budget of $120 million, so pretty huge, for 12A rating and a 2 hour and 7 minutes runtime. The film is written by Gareth Dunet Alcocer and directed by Angel Manuel Soto. The film stars Xolo Mariduena as Jamie Reyes, or Jaime Reyes. You'll know him from Cobra Kai, the main star of Cobra Kai. It also stars Susan Sarandon as the film's big bad villain, and a wealth of other actors. Now, this film opens up and we come to find that Susan Sarandon is playing Victoria Cord of Cord Industries, and she's out and about and she's found the scarab which comes from outer space, and this is given to us in the history of the scarab is given to us in an over the credits scene. Basically, it shows us it coming to Earth, it getting found, and all this sort of stuff. We're then introduced to Jamie Reyes, coming back from America. He's been schooling over there. He's done quite well, shall we say. He comes back to his family only to find out that there's a lot of troubles going on within them. His father's had a heart attack and it ain't been told to him. His father's still alive. Their business is on the rocks. Their house is about to be lost because the rent's been increased and all this sort of stuff. And you've got this divide between the rich and the poor going on. It's the city that it's set in is in a fictional city. It's all very much divided between a sort of futuristic looking setting where there's lots of money, lots of industry, lots of nice vibrant coloured lights, and then the sort of poorer slummy type of areas, which is where these lot come from. We're also introduced to Jamie's family, a whole wealth of them. His mother, his father, his nan, his sister, his uncle who's somewhat tech savvy. Looking for work. They end up working for Victoria Cord. Unbeknown to her, in a sense, it's somewhere that she owns and they employ people. He's been employed along with his sister just as like cleaners and this sort of thing, and they end up being fired, but he steps in to protect Jenny Cord, the niece of Victoria Cord, whose father had passed away some years beforehand, and the company was given to her aunt, Susan Sarandon's character. This leads to a process of her trying to steal the beetle. This is Jenny Cord, giving it to him, Jamie, him going away, him getting the suit, and all this sort of stuff going on. Do you know, I'm not going to go too much into the story of the film, because it's brand new and you're going to want to see it. But is it any good or not? Oh, unfortunately, no. No, it's not. It's not. It's a background film. There's a film that you would have on if you were doing something else. I mean, it was fine. It was fine, but my attention was waning on and off throughout the film. The family dynamic, all of his family, they were getting on my nerves. They would get all the way through, and they play a big part in the film, a huge part, so much so that they are there in the action escapades towards the end of the film. They are there. His nan firing this this sort of futuristic machine gun thing. His uncle flying this buggy thing, and all this sort of stuff is played on in the film. The film is essentially about Susan Sarandon's character. She's building an army essentially of these of people that can wear these mechanical things on their back, much like what a scarab does. So it's pretty much like she sort of reversed engineered the scarab into technology for other people to wear, but the scarab itself is symbiotic. It's symbiotic in nature, and it chooses who it wants to connect to. And all the time that it's been here, it hasn't chosen anyone, but it does at this point when it attaches itself to Jamie, and they have to come together and unite to make the most of one another and its powers. So the film is stepping into territory we've all seen before. It's very much Venom in that sense. It's very much Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket. It's very much Iron Man. What I'm saying is there's nothing original in the film whatsoever. We've seen it all before, and this is the problem with superhero stuff now, is that we have seen it all before. Like Black Adam before this, everything is so familiar. It just breeds familiarity and like you've been there before. So for all its flash and bang and there's nothing fresh, so it's easy just to sit back and have this on and not really pay too much attention to it. Obviously there's a love interest with the Jenny Cord character, and we get to find out that there's a bit of a history to the Blue Beetle, that this isn't the first Blue Beetle. The first Blue Beetles came before, not utilising the scarab and all this sort of stuff. So you've got a film that's it's just very flat. It's just very flat, and watching it for me, there was nothing that I never really got invested until the very end, until there was some sort of stuff between the villain guy, a character called Carapax, who is one of the soldiers who gets enhanced with this thing. There's a bit of character development right at the end for this character here, and a bit of the coming together between him and Jamie's character, and a sort of reversal for him and what he's doing. But it's all too little too late. You know, this is stuff that should have been played upon earlier in the film and would given more drama to it, shall we say. Like I said, it just plays so familiar. That's the primary issue with the film. The soundtrack for the film, when you've got a score, when the film score comes into play, it's actually pretty good. But there's this need to now utilise rock music and that sort of thing over fight scenes. And it's like we've had a turnaround from something years ago that they used to do, and we're getting it again now, and I don't like that element to it. Like I said, the film is very bright, it's vibrant, it uses a lot of sort of a Batman and Robin-esque colours to it to make it stand out on the big screen. That sort of illuminescent kind of lighting all the way through the film, and again, that's something that's becoming a trope that, you know, doesn't really intrigue me too much now. But yeah, so the film does have 2 post-credit scenes. I'm holding up 4 fingers there. 2 post-credit scenes. The first one is I'm not going to spoil it, but it's only going to have any relevance if this character is continued, and if it is continued on introducing elements from this film, if that makes sense. If James Gunn takes his character and changes it, but with the same actor, but doesn't use anything from this film, it ain't gonna work. And the very last end scene, it plays into sort of Mexican culture and this sort of a thing. So not really worth staying around for either of them, and if you do, just stay around for that first one. The second one's pretty much throwaway, and you won't get nothing from it. You'll just be left scratching your head completely. So for me, you know, I've seen far better DC films. it's lost on me, this one, completely, because it's a character I don't know. It's a character I don't care about. It's a character that by the end of the film I've not learnt to care about, or care about anyone in the film. So ultimately the film is lost on me. But there we go. You can't win them all, can you? DC are hoping that they will, and I do believe that all the rhetoric about this film and being, you know, this character will be continued into the new DC universe and all this is nothing but a ploy to try and get people through the doors. You saw the same with Black Adam. You saw similar with The Flash. They've said stuff to try and get you through, to try and make you think that, well, maybe they will continue with these characters and this film will have a point. Doesn't matter if it doesn't or not. It's not an interesting character whatsoever. Anyway, there we go. See you on the next one.